Do well. My voice ain't exactly everything right now, so I'm sound kind of sound harsh. But yeah, I'll be all right. Well, I ain't got to speak much tonight. I got a guest coming on, and I'm waiting on him to log in right now. I'll go live in about a minute or so.
Okay, I'm muting my phone.
Okay, dear. Love you.
All right. Love you too.
Love you more. That's my baby girl. She's in the airport getting ready to fly out of Illinois. I see my guest just logged on. Let me start my show so I can bring him.
Okay.
I'll put you up in a little bit, Jason. Well, Jake. All right, let me do this. Let me do this.
Is it going to be about 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, about. But you,
Okay.
yeah, about, yeah.
So I'm not going to be on the screen right now, then, right?
No, I've got you where you're not on screen. I mean, I can still see you,
Okay.
but I don't have you on screen. I can still see you. They can't see you
Okay.
until I put you on
I
screen.
might switch. I was in the waiting room, and then I realized I had to type my name in.
Yeah, so they know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Hello, successionaires, and welcome to the national TV and conference call talk show, The Road to Success. I'm your host, Professor William Murray, and as always, the God in me greets and blesses the God in you. We got a very interesting show coming up this evening, and we all going to learn something. I'm a student this evening, so let me get everything set up so we can get it going. Like I always tell you, if you learn something, teach us. If you know something, tell us. This evening's show is titled Buying, Selling, and Trading Stocks. I had so many requests and questions on this because people are interested in it. So I said, well, let me call my buddy I've been knowing for a little bit. I've been knowing him for a few years and bring him on. Because this show is about you and it's for you. And the success of the show depends on you. So always stay tuned in and pass the word about the show. Because if you stay committed, you will see a difference in your life, your mindset, and your business. Hit share. Share this out. And subscribe on my page. I'm on 7 social media sites right now, all at the same time. So I'm saying share this out. Share it out. We are going to talk stocks this evening. Because like I said, this evening I am a student. Because I've got a lot to learn. I've heard this brother speak several times. And he knows the stuff now. I'm telling you, he's the man. There's no doubt whatsoever when it comes to stocks. He is the man. Let me tell you about the gentleman who's our guest tonight, J.R. Fenwick. He is a founder and CEO of FlipThatStock.com, a leader, stock market educator, and technology company founded in 2013 and based in Prince George's County. On a mission to decrease the wealth gap by teaching people of color how to increase their finances, and wealth through a non-complicated and fun approach to trading in the stock market. He has helped over 42,000 people learn about the stock market. He is a master trader, teacher, and coach, a highly taught after speaker. Has been featured in media numerous times, including Black Enterprise, The Washington Post, and Fool.com. He received the Community Life Changers Award. He is also the author of How I Quit My $100,000 a Year Job, and his forthcoming book, 26 Things I Did to Quit My Job and Build a $1 million Company. Family, get your pencil and get your paper, your pad, or whatever you need to take notes, because you're going to have some this evening. And we're going to open the lines a little later so you can ask him questions and get your questions answered by one of the top stock knowledgeable people in the country. Family, I bring to you my friend and a very good acquaintance, Mr. J.R. Fenwick. How you doing, my brother?
Man, I'm listening to that. I'm like, I want to hear this guy. I want to hear what he got to say. I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be on your show this evening.
Oh man, the pleasure, trusting me, is definitely mine, because I've gotten requests for this show.
Okay.
And we had to finally get it set up where your schedule and my schedule were the same on the night of my show.
Right.
So we're here. Like I said, I've been knowing you for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I've attended several of your sessions. I've listened to you on live on other shows. I said, let me do this. And people, I'm serious. I have truly been asked questions about the stocks on my show. I said, I got somebody for you.
Right.
Like they say, if you're gonna be the best, you got to go get the best and be topped by the best.
Like I said, well, I want to hear this guy. I want to hear what he got to say. He might drop it. He might drop it like it's hot. So
yeah, I hope he drop it like it's hot, baby.
All right.
So JR, tell us a little more than what your bio is about Jason Fenwick and the flip that stock,
Right.
which is the name of your company.
Yep. Well, first of all, you got me mixed up with my brother. You said Jason, I'm JR. So a lot of people,
yes, I said JR.
Yeah, a lot of people get us mixed up and think we're twins. I'm like the better looking twin.
You know how all y'all look alike to us anyway.
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, I grew up in Ohio. I went to college at Hampton University. I ended up getting a unique degree. My father was a doctor. My mother was a nurse. And I got a nursing pre-med degree. And the game plan was for me to go on to medical school, probably take over medical or dental school, and probably take over my father's practice. But a funny thing happened along the way. That's not really what I wanted to do. And so after I graduated, I ended up working in a hospital for about a year. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I literally just up and quit one day and wanted to pursue my goal of being a professional musician, professional guitarist. And I've been playing guitar since about age 7.
So what happened? You got that eye disease. Like I tell people, when I had my job, I had one of the best paying jobs in the city. Mm-hmm. And I went to my supervisor. I told him I got eye disease. He said, well, go to the doctor right up the street. I said, no, sir, I didn't take my eye I got. I said, I decided I want to be an entrepreneur. I quit.
Right.
That's my eye problem.
that's an eye problem. Right.
That's an eye problem.
And sometimes it's a good problem to have if it's really who you are. And so, after I left, I started pursuing music. I ended up performing on Showtime at the Apollo almost 30 years ago. So if your listeners and viewers go to YouTube and put my name in an Apollo, it'll come up. And I'm not going to tell you what happened. Just check it out. But yeah, so from there, I heard about this thing called a pharmaceutical sales job. This is like 30 years ago. I didn't even know what it was, but I heard you got a company car and you work from home and you get a territory and go around and teach doctors about about medications they prescribe. So I'm like, man, I can do that, especially if I get a company car and they're paying what they say they're going to pay. So I got that. And a few years after doing that, I was like, this isn't really what I want to do either.
That's our problem, something, ain't it?
Yeah, man, it's horrible. Especially when you're making other people rich.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
definitely was making that pharmaceutical company more rich.
Well, you
And
know,
so,
that's what got me, man. I decided got me doing being an entrepreneur. Almost 50 years now.
yeah,
Almost 50 years I've been an entrepreneur. Is I decided, man, nobody can pay me what I can pay me.
that's right. You know, you do those calculations, their calculations are always a little different, you know, than your calculations when it's like
Yes.
what you're worth. So I got the pharmaceutical job, and what I did was I started taking these bonus checks that I was getting, and I started on the side. You know, back then today you call it a side hustle, but back then I just started building my dream, which was my recording studio and recording and producing music, and I was constantly buying equipment, and that's where my life changed. During the process of buying a piece of music equipment, I met a gentleman who is now one of my best friends. His name is Jeff. And Jeff and I would hang out, we'd play music and stuff. But one day out the blue, and this is about 22 years ago, just out the blue, he just says, "Hey, man, you trade in the stock market?" I'm like, "I don't trade in the stock market. I don't know nothing about the stock market. And I'm not interested in no stock market. I got this studio over here, and I'm pursuing that, and that's my passion." And for the next 2 years, Jeff would just say, every time we get together, he just, "Man, you got to learn the stock market. Everything flows to the stock market." He always talk about everything flows to the stock market, and just on and on and on and on and on and on about this stock market thing. So he was wearing me down. It was making sense. One day we were going to a Super Bowl party, and I was driving. I mean, I was going to drive, and he was going to ride with me. So he came to my house. And before we left, he pulled out an envelope and gave it to me, 2 envelopes actually. And I opened these envelopes up, not knowing what was in them. And we were the best of friends at this point. And I'm like, why is he showing me his bank statement? But I didn't read line by line. I went straight down to that balance, right? and you know, it was $1 million thereabouts. And I'm like, what the? And it wasn't his bank account. It was a stock market portfolio. So we go to the Super Bowl party. I can't remember who played, what the score was. All I remember was pacing back and forth in front of this pool table and just thinking, I'm gonna learn that stock market. I'm gonna learn that stock market. And so that's where it all started. It started with my friend Jeff, and so about a couple of weeks after that, crazy enough, this is one of the things that your audience, I think you'll find interesting, and I know you already know this, Professor Murray, and that is what you start thinking about the most and wanting the most, you start attracting it, right?
That's right.
So literally about 2 weeks after I go to the Super Bowl party, I couldn't sleep one night. I get up and I turn on the TV at 4 a.m. I'm eating a sandwich, and an infomercial comes on about a stock market seminar coming to town. And so I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to this seminar. They said it's free. I know they're probably gonna sell me something. I don't care about that. I want to learn. So I go to the seminar, and about 20 minutes into this 2-hour seminar, I'm thinking this guy can sit down and shut up, because I'm buying everything he got, because I knew he was telling the truth, because everything that my buddy had been teaching me, he was saying too. And so between buying the stock, between buying the software, paying for the monthly feed, hiring a personal coach, I mean, I spent about $10,000 to learn. And I was a big believer in investing in yourself. And I have a philosophy when you want to get good at something. It's a 3-step process. First step is identify what you want. I wanted to, learn the stock market. Second thing is find somebody who's obsessed with it. They can't just be good at it. They got to be obsessed with it. And then 3, just pay them to teach you. And that's what I did. Everything in life I've had success, I follow those 3 steps. What do I want? Who's obsessed with it and an expert? And I'll just pay you to teach me. And so
Yeah.
I did that, and that's where it all started. That's how it all started, with me getting involved in the stock market. And it's been 20 some years now, and it's been a passion ever since. So that's how that road
Well,
twists and turns, and how I ended up in the stock market.
listening to you, man, and with what I went through, mine was similar, man. I went to a seminar, and they was teaching about getting grants and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It cost $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wait a minute. I was so interested, in learning about grants to teach it and all this. It was worth me to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I looked in the room. I said, $1,000. It was 175 people in that room. I said, Lord God, look at this. This man just made $175,000.
Mm-hmm. But it's all about, like, when I went to Hampton. I don't know what Hampton costs nowadays. I'm sure it's 30, 40, maybe $50,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Back when I went, I think it was about 7,000 to 10,000. Let's just say 7,000 times 4 years. That's $28,000. We invest in our education. If somebody said, "Oh, my child is going to go to Harvard," right, or Hampton, forget Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stick with Hampton at HBCU, and they say it's going to cost $40,000 a year. Right, 120,000 overall. Everybody's, oh man, congratulations, your child got into Hampton. Oh, that's so great. Da 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 da. Right, and then is there a guarantee that you're gonna make all this money when you get out of school? No school guarantees it. So my point is, for me to invest 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 in an education where I get a skill set, a lifelong skill set. But by the way, is one of the top 3 wealth generators. You have real estate, not in any particular order, building a business, and the stock market.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invest in this because I want to know what these wealthy people know. I want to know, how do they use the stock market to do what they do. So it was a no-brainer for me. But a lot of times our people, when it comes to investing, will invest in a 4K flat screen TV.
Yeah.
It costs 2, 3, 4, 5,000. We'll invest in going to see Beyonce and getting front row seats. But somebody say, hey, this program costs several thousand. And they just came from watching their $2,000 and $3,000 TV and going to the Beyonce concert and things like that. So it's all perspective. It's all perspective. I looked at it like, there's an old saying, follow the money.
Yeah.
And the money's on Wall Street. So if you don't know about Wall Street, you're really missing out, because you're a part of Wall Street, whether you know it or not. Your 401k, the economy is affected by Wall Street. What happens on Wall Street? Everything around the world is affected by Wall Street. So you're really at a disadvantage if you don't know about it. So that's my mindset, was I'm going to learn about it and I'll pay. And I paid a lot. That was just the first payment. Over the I probably spent $100,000 on my education over 20 years.
Oh no, man! If I totaled up how much I've spent in going to seminars and conferences and just coaching alone, man, it adds up. People don't realize, like me doing this show, they don't realize what it costs me to do this.
Yeah, it's when you peel the curtain back and you look at what it really takes to put something on or do something. And this is the interesting thing, Professor Murray, is that when you look at the greatest athletes, whether they're NBA, NFL champions, or Olympic champions, what do they all have? A coach.
A coach.
All of them have a coach.
All of them.
And the coaches get paid, right? But the top performers all have a coach. So this is a clue. Like, if I want to get to my peak, because a coach can see some things you can't see.
Like they say, you can't see the picture if you're in the frame.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so it was a no-brainer for me. Matter of fact, when I was sitting in that seminar, I was sitting. I wish this guy would shut up. I'm ready to go. Let's go. And this was 20 minutes into the seminar. I'm like, man, shut up. I got it. I'm buying it. But I knew he was telling the truth because my buddy had already taught me a lot of this stuff. So yeah. So that's how I got involved and started in the stock market.
But you know, man, a job. I don't know because everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. That's
but
true.
a job, all you're doing is build somebody else's dream, and they paying you enough money where they kill yours.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, I was interviewed years ago. I forget what paper it was, and they asked me, well, isn't it stressful being a full-time entrepreneur? And I said, yes, yeah, it is. I said, but you know what's more stressful? Getting up every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade doing something you hate. That's more stressful.
Yes.
Than getting up doing something you
like
love.
They say, if you're doing what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, yeah. That don't mean you don't have stress and all that, but it doesn't compare. It doesn't compare.
What's some of the most important and biggest things you can teach people that about stocks that they know nothing about? They think it's all false.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of myths about the stock market. So one of them is that, and this is kind of crazy. A lot of people think you got to be rich to get in the stock market. You don't have to be rich to get in the stock market, right? But you can become rich by getting in it. But you don't have to be rich to get started in the stock market. You got to have some money, but you don't have to be rich. Another one is that you have to have some type of certification degree or something license in order to buy and sell stocks. You don't need that to do it to buy and sell stocks for yourself. Now, if you're going to give recommendations to people and work for a brokerage firm, you have to get a license, but you don't have to for yourself. Another one is that you have to sit in front of a computer and look at these complicated charts and graphs all day long. Not true. Not true. Another one is, I heard this one, it actually kind of just blew me away. This was several years ago. And somebody said, oh, that's a white people thing. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, as long as they can make us think that, man, that's to their benefit.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And then the other thing is the barrier to entry is not as high as people think, meaning like out of the three, real estate, starting a business, and just getting started in the stock market, the barrier to getting started is the lowest with the stock market, right? There's, real estate, a little higher barrier, and I'm not putting down real estate or anything. I believe in that and involved in that. But
I was in it for 15 years.
Yeah, that opening a business, we all know, what it takes to run a business. But,
yes, Lord.
But to get involved in the stock market, the barrier is much lower. Now, you want to be educated, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but the actual steps to getting started in it are not that many.
Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between the terms investing and trading? What is the difference? What's?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because a lot of times you hear people using those terms interchangeably, and they're not the same thing. So when you're investing, well, let me back up a little bit. Let me just share. Okay, so we go very basic and build off this. What is actually a stock? So a stock, all a stock is just a slice of ownership in a company. They call it a share. And the reason that companies like Professor Murray, let's say you and I start a company, right? And it's a private company. We own it together, okay? And so we're doing well, but we're like, man, we really need a lot of money to grow the way we want to grow, maybe manufacturing, advertising, whatever. And so we say, let's take our company from being private to being public. And we have to go through a process with paperwork and filings and all this with the government. And then we can divide our company up into, let's say we divide it up into 100 million tiny pieces called shares. And we can sell these shares to the public, say for $5. We start at $5, IPO, initial public offering, meaning the very first shares we're offering to the public is for $5. So if we sell 100 million of those, we raised 500 million. So we take that money in and we can use our company to grow. But now everybody who bought into our company, they're actually owners, in our company. So the first thing is we got to know what a stock is and how a stock becomes a stock. That's the most basic format or example of how a stock becomes a stock. So then the next thing is investing and trading. And investing is where you buy and sell shares of a stock and you hold it for 1 year or longer. You're called an investor. You're looking long term. I bought low. Hopefully that $5 goes to 10, 20, 30, and so on. Trading is where we buy and sell stocks in a shorter period of time, which is it could be months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, even seconds. So there's two totally different things. Investing is totally different than trading. And there's different tools we use, different strategies we use, depending on whether we're investing or trading. So hopefully that clears it up for your listeners and your viewing audience.
But tell me this: why should every African American get involved in the stock market?
Well, they're already involved whether we know it or not. So
right.
So you're involved in the stock market whether you know it or not. It's just whether you're actively benefiting from it, right? The stock market is all around us because companies, Exxon, AT&T, Nike. Apple, all of them are publicly traded companies. You're going in there buying their products and supporting their companies, but you're not getting any ownership out of it. You're a consumer. That's all we're doing is being a consumer versus being an investor and an owner. And so we're involved in it anyway. But so we should be in it for that reason. We should be looking at ownership, not just being a consumer. If you're going to buy an iPhone, why not be an owner in Apple too?
I tell my listeners all the time, you're going out, you're buying $150, $200 sneakers.
Yep.
Then you're going out and buying a $300 or $400 purse, or $200 or $300, $400 pair of shoes. Who are you trying to impress? All you're going to do is be broke. You're making the investors rich while you working your ass off to make them rich. Why don't instead of that, just go ahead and buy and invest. So every time somebody buys that product, it's cha-ching in your pocket.
Right. Matter of fact, if you take two people and you line them up, and let's say we're going into the Apple store. Let's say they release some new phone, the new Plutonium X34Z. If they put that out, I'm just making this up, but if they put a press release out like that, there'd be a line around the block with everybody who wants to get this new iPhone, right? So let's say we're going and we're in line with a buddy, and I own shares of Apple and the buddy doesn't. We're both excited about going in that store and getting the new iPhone, but when we get in there, he just is a consumer. I'm a consumer and I'm an owner and investor. I might stick around. I might stick around and start helping them sell some phones. I might slap a little, Apple name tag on and say, "Let me help you," because I'm one of the owners.
That's right. And literally, people don't understand that. They don't understand that, man. That's unbelievable. That they'll go in debt trying to impress somebody and end up ready to retire. Got all these name brand clothes, got all these name brand this, and got a big expensive car note and all that, but they broke.
If you went in somebody's house, if you went in most of our houses, people of color's homes, and you looked at the TV, the shoes, the bags, the car, even the food, I mean, probably 90+% of that is publicly traded companies that they can have ownership in. Now, check this out, because this is something a lot of people don't understand either about the stock market, which is quite incredible. All right. So there's something called dividends, right? And so dividends are where you buy shares. Remember, shares are just slices of ownership in a company. So you buy dividends, you buy a stock that offers dividends. All right. And just for owning the stock and holding the stock, you don't have to do anything else. Every quarter, every 3 months, they'll just slice you off a check or deposit extra money in your account, depending on how many shares you have and how much dividend they're paying out. And so now you're you're getting that passive income just from holding something, like just going and buying it and just holding it. Now you have to, not every company offers dividends, but there are companies that have been out here for 100 years that have never missed a dividend payment. So these are, I'm just giving you guys general things to think about, just to like, because a lot of this stuff we just don't know about, right? So there's all kind of ways to get involved in the market. Also, there's something called REITs, REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. So you say, well, I want to get in the real estate game, but I don't really know how to go out and buy an apartment complex or a house, or I don't want to be a landlord and all that. So you can buy a REIT, and this is ownership in stock companies that own real estate. So you're not managing and being a landlord and all that, but you're getting the benefits of that through owning a REIT. So there's a lot of different ways, but I'm just giving you a few, just to.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you prefer trading or investing, and why one or the other?
Okay.
Or sometimes both.
Yeah, that's a great question. First and foremost, you can be both, and I encourage people to be both. You can be an investor, meaning buying and holding stocks for the long term, and you can be a trader to go in and trade in a very short period of time, look to have a profit and get out, and then do it again. So I am both, but I get this question asked often, and I like trading better, and I'll tell you why. All right, I'm both though. So remember I said I went to the seminar, I bought all this software, right? Now the story I'm about to tell you, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. It just, the universe lined up for me for this to happen in my life. So I don't want your listening audience to think, oh, I went in and I was following the plan. No, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, right?
Yeah.
So because I just bought the software, I'm just learning. And so one day I buy some shares of stock right when the stock market opens up. And 6 minutes later, I'm looking at my laptop and looking at the software, and I look in the profit column, and it said $1,000. The stock had gone up in 6 minutes, and the profit said 1,000. So I don't know why it went up. I don't even remember the stock. I just remember I clicked that sell button, and I made $1,000 in 6 minutes. And here's the kicker, and this was not planned. I was in a robe sitting at my kitchen island on my laptop when this happened. So I'm like, damn, excuse my language. Ain't nobody taught this. They ain't teach this in school. So that's when I became obsessed with trying to learn, okay, why did that stock go up? You know, how do I find stocks like that? How do I really work this software? And I spent 2-3 years taking notes, spreadsheets, and then over time, I developed this system, which is now known as, initially became the company, Flip That Stock. We offer many products now, but that was the first one. And so that's my true passion, because that happened to me first. And that's something you never forget. And the other thing is that when you're trading, you're taking advantage of fluctuation. You're taking advantage of a stock moving up and down quickly. You're looking to get in and get out quickly, right? But you start to learn things that help you as an investor. So if you're getting into an investment and the stock shoots up and then it starts coming down some, you don't panic, because you expect it to come down some because of the way you trade. You're used to trading. And so you can see, how things go up and down. So you don't panic as much if you're in an investment and it goes up and comes down some. So there was a lot of benefits that I received from being a trader first and an investor second. So my true heart is I'm a trader.
Okay, then now I'm like these people are listening now, and I want to get in the stock market. What's the first step someone should take to get started in the stock market?
So I'm going to make an analogy here. All right. When we were all younger, coming up on 16, 17, and right around then, we all started saying we want to drive, because driving was kind of helped us with our freedom. We could get away from our parents. We could go out and we could do this, that, and the other. But in order to drive, what did you have to do? You had to take a class. You had to do the book knowledge. Then you had to have a mentor or a driving instructor. And then you went and you did the driving, right? You didn't just hop in the car and say, well, hey, I want to go hang out with my friends. So, but this is what a lot of people do when it comes to the stock market. They just want to hop in. They want to hop in that stock market car and just go. They just focused on that money, focused on that money. No, the first thing you need to do is find somebody you can relate to that can teach you and educate you on how the stock market works, then can show you how to practice, and then you do it. So when people say, what's the first thing? Tell me a hot stock pick. Well, you don't even know how to open up the proper brokerage account. You don't even know what a brokerage account is. You see, I'm not going to give you no hot stock pick, because a hot stock pick for me, I might be a flipper. You might not have that risk tolerance to be a flipper. And I give you a hot stock pick for flipping, but you really need to be an investor. What you got to do is get educated. And so
Well,
that's the first thing you need to do.
I listened to your class you did. Was it last week you did a session?
Yeah.
And man, I've heard you before, but I was really, really impressed because you really broke everything down. I don't even know what show or something you was on, but you really broke everything down. I said, wow, he is really on, and he's gonna be my guest. I've already scheduled him. But you know, man, people don't know. I mean, you know, it like I say, I do a lot of 100-hour weeks. All my weeks are at least 100 hours.
Right.
You've got to spend that time. It's not gonna come easy, and then you got to know how to handle your money.
Right. But see, you know, Professor Murray, this is the thing, right? There was a commercial out a few years ago where this guy goes into, it's like a Starbucks, right? And he comes up to the order in the ordering line, and he orders a latte, and the guy says, "Okay, got it." And the guy turns around to go make it, and as soon as he turns his back, the customer says, "Excuse me," and the guy says, "Yes." He says, "Where's my latte?" That's how quick we want stuff. He didn't even get a chance to go make it. He's like, "Where's my latte?" So we live in the microwave era where we want everything fast. We see all this stuff on social media where they're driving Ferraris and throwing cash and bling, bling, bling. And who knows what percentage of that is true, number one. And anytime you see a highly successful person, if you pull back that curtain, there's a lot of cut marks, bleeding and tears and stuff like that. You just got to put your time in and just accept you're going to put the time. Now, that being said, if you get with the right teacher or coach, their job is to cut that time down and keep you on the path and say, don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. Let me show you what you're going to expect on that road. And so that's why it's so important to have a coach. But everybody wants it so fast. They want it so fast. Like people have seen me flip a stock and you know, say make $500 in less than 5 minutes. And so they start hyperventilating. I should, and they're trying to tell their friend, I saw, they can't even breathe because they focused on the money.
See, that's the worst thing.
Totally discounting my training and my practice, right? So I'm going to let your listening audience know right now. All right. If you want to write something down, write this down. So there's a lot of companies, including mine, that will tell you how to trade stocks and how to, you know, have the opportunity to make money with stocks. What I'm going to do is tell y'all the quickest way to lose money in the stock market. Write this down. The quickest way to lose money in the stock market is to focus on the money. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the system. Focus on the system, right?
No doubt.
See, if I want to be a basketball player, and let's say Steph Curry is my favorite player, or LeBron, and let's say they score 50 points, and I'm like, oh, I just want to score them 50 points. But wait a minute, these cats learn the game, then they practice. That led to them getting the 50. You got to learn it, practice it. Don't focus on the points. Don't focus on the money. Focus on the system. The system, the byproduct of getting good at the system is the money. So I'm telling y'all, and people, I say this all the time, but you know, the market is so crazy, you can make an incredible amount of money But you got to ask that person, well, how did you get to that? Focus on the system, right?
You know, Jr. And by the way, my guest is Jr. Fenwick, the owner of that stock. Jr. One of the things I always tell people, and I'm very adamant on this: never ever work for money, ever, ever. You work for success. Success will pay you. What does it take for you to be successful? You got to put in the time, the research, and the learning, and being coached. Being in order to, don't. Bob Marley said, if you're working for money, you'll be working all your life.
Yeah.
And still won't accumulate. Yeah. But if you work for success, success will always pay you more money than working for money.
Yeah, because success along the way of the path of success, you learn stuff. You learn what to do, what not to do. You learn how to get knocked down, get back up, keep going when the odds are against you. Success. Most people who are successful, and dare I say, all people who are highly successful and have longevity with their success, have been through trials and tribulations that gave them, as my father used to say, gave them some grit, made them stick-to-itiveness, strength, and all that. And
well, let's see if anybody's out there got any questions for you. Okay. Lines are open. Somebody have to just talk to me. J.R. Finn, we wait. Talk to us. Any questions or replies or whatever, talk to us. Shirley? Because I had a lady that was on before you came on. We were talking, and she had a question. I said, don't ask me, ask him. Are you there, Shirley?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for being on the call, sir. I was been hearing a lot about dividends. So how can one get started in dividends?
How can someone get started in dividends?
Dividend stocks?
Yes.
I'm going to go back to what I said first, is that now you're focused on dividends, right? See, back up off of dividends and say, let me get educated on the stock market first, and understanding how do I even open up an account, because you got to know how to open up an account. Then you got to understand, okay, how do I find dividend stocks? And then how do I find good dividend stocks, right? And not every company offers dividend stocks, right? So how do you what tools do you use to find these dividend stocks? So I would say first, you got to find a class to get into. And I happen to know somebody who's pretty good at this stock market thing. I think his name is J.R. Fenwick.
Well, I know JR. I know him very well, and I know damn well he's good.
So that's the thing, and that's probably going to be my answer to most questions is start with education. I know we want to say, well, just tell me a dividend stock. Just tell me. First of all, off the top of my head, I don't have a dividend stock in my head to say, but even if I did, I wouldn't say it, because you got to understand the other basics of opening an account. How do you protect yourself when you buy stocks, and if they don't do what you want? Will you still get dividends? Will you lose all your money? You need to know all that stuff up front, right? Think about this. Think about this too, right? So if you had a baby, consider your money to be your baby, right? And you need a babysitter, right? Well, aren't you going to interview that babysitter? Aren't you going to ask that babysitter, okay, what's your schedule for my baby going to be? What are you going to do? You're not just going to say, oh, they said they're a babysitter, come on in and take care of my baby, right? So you want to know some things before you even start getting started with some dividend stocks. You got to get the basics down. And it's not hard, again, if you have the right teacher. You know, if you go back to high school or college, I think we all experienced, or grade school, we all experienced a teacher that, man, they were just hard as hell. It was complicated. You understand it. And then we all had that fun teacher that you look forward to going to your class and you retain that stuff so much quicker, right? Well, that's the same way it is in the stock market. I remember someone sent me a web link. I'm not going to say the school, but it's an Ivy League school. And they sent me a web link to their page that teaches the stock market. And I've been in the stock market 20 years, and it hurt my head. It felt like my head was going. I was like, Jesus, who's going to go through all this? Like, it's too much. It's just too much. Do you really need to know all that stuff? And the answer is no. No, there's simpler ways, and that's one of the ways that things that we do is we've taken very complex issues. We use everyday analogies to explain and teach how the stock market works.
Oh, JR, let me do this real quick, because I know I got people waiting, and we're going to continue on. But if people want to get information and knowledge and use you, and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can just go to flipthatstock.com, FLIP, that, THAT, stock, STOCK.com. And they'll see the different programs and mentorship programs that we offer. We have one for learning how to flip stocks. We have one for learning how to invest in stocks. We have one called Flip That Option, which teaches how to trade options. As a matter of fact, we were just recently featured in Black Enterprise because we created a game. Speaking of keeping it simple, we created a game and took this very, very complex strategy for trading options, and we created a game to teach everyday people about it. And so the word got out about it. The game went viral, and so all the information is on there. We even have programs for school kids that we license out to schools, schools across the country, called Stock Market Students. So we have a variety, and all of that's on flipthatstock.com.
Well, do you have any events coming up anytime soon?
Actually, I do. So I have an event that's coming up on this Sunday at 7 p.m. And I'll be talking about how to flip stocks for profits in less than 30 minutes a day. And then if anybody is in the Atlanta area, if you're in the Atlanta area on April 6th, I'm actually coming down there and doing a live seminar that Trust and Believe. You come to this seminar, you won't be the same when I get finished with this. We're going to have a ball. And to register for that, you go to Flip That Stock Events, EVENTS.com, Flip That Stock Events. You have to register. You can have your friends register, but we're going to tear Atlanta up, and we're actually kicking off a tour called the Freedom Express Tour. We're going across the country. We had the tour going prior to COVID. Then COVID hit, and now we're relaunching the tour, and we're kicking it off out of Atlanta. But if you go to the website flipthatstock.com and just click on the Contact Us button up at the top, send us a message, and I will send you out the information for this Sunday's a Zoom presentation if you're not in the Atlanta area, or even if you are and you want to check it out.
Anyone else out there got any questions or anything they want to know from JR? Don't be scared, y'all. Y'all got a professional. Yes.
Yeah, it's Robert Nance, South Carolina. How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me, JR?
Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear him. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Go ahead, Robert.
My question, Mr. Mayor, is how do you find a mentor, and how do you determine if that mentor is a fit for you?
So that's actually a good question. And it's a little tougher now. And I'll tell you why, because of social media. There's so many people out there making all kind of claims. So let me tell you some of the red flags to look for when you're looking for a mentor. If somebody says, I have a program and I guarantee you'll never lose money, run the other way. If somebody has a program, they say, I'll be your mentor, and I have a program where I guarantee, with the word guarantee, you're going to make X amount of dollars, run the other way. That's illegal. You can't guarantee somebody because you don't know, what if they're going to follow your strategy, if they're going to do this or going to do that. That's illegal. So you see all this type of stuff on social media all the time. Also, listening to like if you go to flipthatstock.com and say you're interested in flipping stocks, we have 2 videos on there that are like 7 minutes apart, 7 minutes apiece. And so a total of 14 minutes. And you can see how I teach. And so you can watch that and say, I like or I don't like the way this person teaches. Just like in high school or college or trainers on jobs, like, you gotta resonate with somebody. And we get a lot of people that come to us because they say, you resonated with me. I like the way you teach. And we've been in business over 11 years. So we have an impeccable reputation. We deliver on what we say we're going to deliver. So you can do that. You can Google people, and if there's complaints and stuff like that, that'll usually come up. There might be a complaint here or there. Every business has a complaint, but if you just see a whole list of complaints, that might be a red flag, right? You can also contact some companies, and they'll set up, like every week I set up personal time with about 8 slots that I'll talk to people who are interested in our programs. So that would be my advice. First, look for the red flags. I guarantee you're going to make money. I guarantee you won't lose money. If you start hearing stuff like that, turn the other way, because that's illegal right out the gate. Look for people who are going to tell you the truth about how the stock market works, right? And the truth is, at some point, you're going to lose money, so you need to learn how to manage risk. It's not about losing money. It's about how do you manage the risk, right? Just like when you get in your car, the first thing you do is you manage your risk by putting your seatbelt on. You're managing risk. And then you focus on driving. So these are things that you look for in a good mentor, right? And then you also look to see, is what they're charging fair for what they're delivering, right? I've had the record that was set by somebody who came to me to learn. They had literally paid $75,000, and they were wealthy, and they paid the $75,000. They said they learned more from me in 1 hour than they learned in 2 weeks with the people, the company they were with, that they paid $75,000. I've had people pay $27,000, right? So when you get in these programs, are they really going to teach you what you need to know, or are they just going to keep upselling you to get more money? Is it a family atmosphere when you join? Is it fun? These are all type things you can look for. So great question.
Now, for those online that may want to call in, all you got to do is call. What's my number? 21. Y'all, my mind just went totally blank.
I've been seeing the scroll across.
Okay, Robert. Go ahead, Robert. What's your question?
Okay. In comparison to certificates and money markets, I have some certificates that mature after 1 year. But it seems like the money market, the more I put into it, and it's compound daily, should I just not roll over the certificate and just start until I learn and understand the stock market, just contribute to the money market?
Well, now this is a tough one. I get these all the time where people will give me a personal scenario or situation that they're in. So I'm not a financial planner or licensed as a broker or anything like that. So I can't give out financial advice. What I would say is I'm going to go back, education, and then I would probably search out somebody who specializes or specializes in those areas of certificates versus money markets. Certificates usually, just so everybody kind of is on the same page, is like, you can go to a bank and the bank might give you 0.00002% interest, right? But they say if you get a certificate, we might give you, 4% 4% or 5%, but you got to keep your money in there for 6 months, a year, or whatever term you pick. But it's fixed, right? It's typically not going to go up or go down. Whereas a money market can go up and down. And if the market were shooting up, then you'd be like, dang, I wish I put my money in the market. But if the market was collapsing and you had your money in a certificate, then you'd be happy, like, oh, I'm glad I got my money in here because the market's crashing. So it's a balancing act, and you might want to check with somebody who really specializes in those two things. But generally, you got to understand what's going on with the market, and you may be looking at it like, yeah, dang, I wish I had put my money, and maybe I should take it out and roll it into this. Then let's say you roll it into that, and then the market crashes. Then you're like, doggone it, I should have kept it here. That's why it's important to be educated on the market and understanding how the stock market works and where it may be going and how people are forecasting where it goes. So hopefully that answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Murray, and thank you for answering my question, Mr. JR.
You're quite welcome.
All right. And now, for those that are online that may want to call in, yeah, we're going to be here for a few more. We ain't got long, so a few more. Better get it in now. 218-548-0510. And the PIN number is 1950#. That's 218-548-0510. And the PIN number is 1950#. Get in, get on real quick. We ain't got long. Any more questions? Anything after somebody else wants to know? Talk to me. Well, JR, brother, I appreciate it. I truly, truly appreciate it. I know you gave out some good information. Man, here's the thing that I learned from Joe Madison, the great Joe Madison.
The Black
I
Eagle.
can have 100 people on, and maybe 3 will speak.
Here's the thing: is that it always amazed me. Like, people get shy, and I don't know what it is. They're like scared. Like, And the thing about it is, if you don't ask, then you lose out. If you don't
never
ask,
know.
you just never know.
Never know.
There's no dumb question. I tell people, just throw it out there, right?
I mean, people don't know who you are. They can't see you. The only one they can see is me and you.
Yeah.
So it's like, ask the question. Because like I say, every time someone asks a question, there are 7 people who's got the same question but don't have the nerve to ask.
Right. I was always the type of person, I'm asking the question. I don't care. I'm going to ask that question.
You can make me shut up because I'm going to be taking over questions.
Right. If nobody else wants, I got another question and another one and another one.
Because, JR, when I come to your courses, man, I'll be asking like crazy, man. I want to know. I don't care what they know, what they don't know. I'm going to ask the question.
It doesn't matter. We one of the things about me is that I like to have fun. I like to make money, and I like to teach people how to have fun and make money in the stock market, and all that comes along with it. Right? It's not just a, hey, like I said, you make money, you never have a loss. No, you got to know what to do. It's like if you're driving on the Beltway. Beltway might be clear every day, but then there's one day it's backed up, it's an accident. What do you do? Right? So you got to know how to bob and weave and this, that, and the other. So it's an incredible journey. If you guys have some questions that you think of after the show, just go to flipthatstock.com and click on the contact us button and send your question, and either I or one of our team members will get back with you. But I'll leave you with this: education. That's almost, I could just push a play button on a recorder. Somebody say, well, what's this? Education. What's education? Don't focus on the money. Focus on the education and learning a system, and that will get you to the money.
That's right.
Yep.
So once again, JR, tell them how they can reach you.
So you can go to flipthatstock.com. Flip that stock, FLIP, that THAT stock, STOCK.com. And like I said, we're coming to Atlanta April 6th. And then we're doing something this Sunday. So I'd have to give you that specific information. Just contact us at the site, and I will send a link for this coming Sunday. And boom, we would go.
Y'all do not want to miss. I'm telling you, y'all do not want to miss his sessions.
We're gonna put it down. We're gonna put it down, and we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna make it plain.
Now the website is flipthatstock.com. Flipthatstock.com.
Yeah, I tell you, FL is three of the most powerful words you should know. Flip that stock.
That's right.
Yeah.
My brother, it has been like my man said, a plum pleasing pleasure.
Yes, sir. Let's
I
brown.
appreciate you for educating us and giving us the time. I'm glad you fit this in your schedule, brother. But I'm gonna bring you back. You know, you got to come back now.
I'll come back.
This ain't gonna be no one-time thing with us.
Yeah, and then the next time, all them folks who were sitting on the sideline, you know, had them questions. Fire the questions. You know, that's
you know, it's amazing. You got a professional on, someone who does it for a living.
Yeah.
And been doing it for 20-some years, and they scared to, they don't even, and I keep telling you, share this out. You don't know who you're blessing when you share out and sing this.
Yeah.
You know, and life always pays you back for the blessings you give.
Yeah. Well,
so share this out.
We'll match up our schedules and we'll do it again, and we'll build off of this, and we can keep it rolling, because if you don't get in, you're losing. And if you don't get in, you're in it. Just don't even know you're in it, and you're being taken advantage of.
Because you buying all that name brand stuff, and they're on the stock market. You making them rich while you working like hell trying to buy to make them rich.
You might even be working in the store, just selling all this stuff, and don't even have stock in your own doggone store.
Ain't that something, man?
It is what it is, but we got to make a change. And so I'm here. Our mission is to help people make a change through learning the stock market and changing their finances and their wealth. So.
Well, JR, and hang on, because when I close out, I want to talk to you after the show. So
okay.
Can you hang on for a minute or two?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do this, because I didn't do none of my commercial time. I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
All right, thanks, sir.
All right. Y'all know that I need support in order to keep this show. I have to have support, a financial support from y'all. So I'm asking y'all, donate at least $25 to the show, The Road to Success. Because look at what I'm bringing you. Look at the guests I've had on in the last 2 or 3 months this year alone that'll give you education. Look how much money he just put in your. Didn't cost you a dime to sit down and talk to someone who could make you a millionaire. Didn't cost you a dime. All it cost you was 60 minutes. So I'm saying, help me keep this show on. Send me at least $25 or more. Or whatever you can send, it don't matter. Because I told you, someone sent $10, and if that's all she might not have a 12, but she gave me 10. So go to Cash App. It's $WMURRY. $WMURRY, W Murray. And you can go to PayPal at paypal.me/MM Institute. That's paypal.me/MM Institute. Or you can mail it to us at P.O. Box 47438, District Heights, Maryland, 20753. That's P.O. Box 47438, District Heights, Maryland, 20753. You can call us here at the Institute at 240-619-2019, and you can pay right online, and you get a receipt instantly. And every penny that's sent in goes to me keeping this show on the air, bringing on more guests like J.R. Fenwick. So that's Cash App at $W Murray, PayPal at paypalme./MM Institute, and by mail at P.O. Box 47438, District Heights, Maryland, 20753. And as I always tell you in closing, if you push me, I'll pull you. If you pull me, I'll push you. It doesn't matter whether I'm pushing or pulling. Y'all, we will get there together, and we are going to be a success. And I always give you a truth and a fact, because truth and fact are undefeated since the beginning of time. And the truth is, I love you. And the fact is, ain't nothing you can do about it. Until next time, y'all, I say God bless and keep working on your road to success. Until next time, God bless.